Oh, it is Wednesday. Good evening to you, folks. Meteorologist Don Schwenneker here for the weather show tonight. We got a lot to talk about. We've got the tropics still causing problems. We've got cold air damming over us. What does that mean? I've had several emails about this. Yes, I know it looks terrible, my beard. As a matter of fact, I had a lady write me today and say, I am 96 years old, Don. I do not like your beard. Please shave it. And to that I say, I don't like kids having to deal with brain tumors. So that's why I'm doing this whole unshaving thing. We're doing No Shave November here at ABC 11 IM. And while I'm not shaving, I'm raising funds to benefit the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation. Every dollar you donate goes to that. And it's not just part of the proceeds. So you can go to all my social media, make a donation, $5, $10, $500, whatever you can afford. I sure would love it, and it helps kids fighting brain tumors. All right, let's talk about our weather headlines tonight. We got rain moving in. It's going to get wet around here tomorrow, so be ready for the shower activity. Definitely going to need the rain gear for your Thursday. Tropical update. And we're not done with the tropical season just yet. Oh, no. We could have Tropical Storm Sarah by tomorrow. And the dam breaks. We've got cold air damming. We've used that term a lot this week. But what does it mean? CAD is the abbreviation, that CAD. We'll talk about that in the viewer question coming up in just a bit. If you're new to the show, though, we always get things started with just a good old forecast. If you're here to find out what the weather's doing, that's what we're going to talk about right now. Live look at our first alert Doppler net tonight scanning the skies, not seeing any rainfall around here. We stay rain-free through the overnight, even though the clouds are building, and you do not have to worry about the rain showers. Now, this is our color vision deficiency, CVD radar. It's for people who have trouble seeing reds and greens. On the weather show, we zoom it out to where the rain is. If you go to abc11.com/weather, it's always zoomed in on our area. And so if you have problems seeing reds or greens, or you have somebody who's traditionally been colorblind, this is the radar for them. It's on abc11.com/weather. We do have showers out in the Midwest tonight. We'll talk more about the rain that's working from St. Louis to Champaign, Illinois, over to Cincinnati, Ohio. Around here tonight, we are dry. Live look at our first alert Pendo Sky Cam in downtown Raleigh, 301 Hillsborough Street. Cloudy skies now, 50 degrees on a northeast wind at 6. You can see there's a flag hanging from the crane there, sticking out just a bit. We get gusts around 10 miles an hour, and that straightens it out. All right, show you what's happening. Satellite radar composite clear from showers here. We do see some showers down off the coast, but we're not seeing any rainfall here. But if we zoom it out, there's the rain, and the rain extends border to border from Canada and International Falls all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. We've got a pretty significant frontal boundary pressing through the Midwest. That's what's going to head our way and bring us the showers as we head through the day tomorrow. Tonight, the clouds are here. 43 will be your overnight low. Last night we made it to 41 in Raleigh. We saw 30s in spots across the region, so won't be quite as cold as last night, but it's still going to be chilly out there on a northeast wind at 5 to 10. That morning drive, temperatures will be in the 40s. Rain chances really ramp up as we head through the morning. So notice 7 o'clock, just a 10% chance of a shower. We're at 45 degrees, but by lunchtime we're at 52, and I do think the rain arrives by midday, and the heaviest rain, best chances for heavy rain between about 2 and 10 tomorrow night. Just know it's going to be rainy late day, 55 degrees, cloudy and cooler than it was today. So if you got a raincoat, you might have to wear the sweater underneath because it is going to be chilly out there. Look at temperatures across the region tomorrow. Pretty uniform, running in the 50s. 54 Durham, 52 Carborough, 54 Holly Springs, 51 in Siler City. You may sneak up to 60 in Clinton and Fayetteville. You'll be very close beyond that northern edge of the warmest air, so you've got a shot at 60. 53 though in Sanford, 56 in Lillington. You'll stay in the 50s tomorrow from Roxborough to Roanoke Rapids, 53 in South Hill, 54 out your door in Wake Forest, Lewisburg, and 58 in Rocky Mount. This 7-day forecast powered by AccuWeather, showing temperatures into the mid-50s. Tomorrow we warm up into the 60s. Warm up, sort of. Will be most of the day will be in the 50s on Friday, but Saturday looks great for the weekend. Sunshine, a few high clouds, 67. Some late day clouds on Sunday, 69. Monday, 72. And we'll be around 70 through the middle part of next week. Notice that rain chance on Wednesday, though. That could be the remnants of Tropical Storm Sarah. We'll talk more about the tropics. We've got old school weather. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. As Western North Carolina continues to recover from the devastation left by Hurricane Helene, a local expert is weighing in on the impact that tropical activity can have on our entire state. We're also diving into the drought conditions after October was one of the driest months on record. Here's Tom George with our latest Climate Ready story.
Well, obviously, Helene was the main headline of this year. It is still going to take months and even years for Western North Carolina to rebuild. But state climatologist Dr. Kathy Delos says it's also an important reminder these kinds of severe weather events can impact not just the coasts, but the entire state. As Helene devastated North Carolina, the sheer strength of the storm shocking to Dr. Kathy Delos, not just as a scientist, but as someone who loves our state.
These are places that I know and love. I have people that I'm very close to up there. The landscape is forever changed. And when the Blue Ridge Parkway closed, that's when it all hit me, that this was something completely shocking, that I had not seen anything like this in my life.
From Helene out west to homes collapsing in the ocean in the Outer Banks.
Yeah, it's been a year of weather whiplash here in North Carolina.
That whiplash went from record heat in June, devastating corn crops, followed by a wet July to September, then back to a dry October. Delos says it's a lesson that we need to be ready for anything, regardless of geography.
We're seeing erosion on our coast. We're seeing places that flood that never used to flood. And we're also seeing sunny day flooding, which means there doesn't even need to be a hurricane, and some roads are just experiencing tidal flooding.
She says creating stronger buildings moving forward needs to be considered across the state.
We know that we see flooding outside of the 100-year floodplain. We can build up, so we can elevate structures, especially critical infrastructure, that we need to keep in certain locations, that maybe it floods on the first floor, or there's a certain amount of baseline area that can take on water.
But if 2024 was any lesson, we need to be ready for 2025 and beyond.
These events that are happening, we have other examples that we can point to all around the world. The worst things that people have ever seen. We just have to get ready for that. This is happening, it's here and now.
And we are still not quite done with 2024 just yet as we head into winter. One thing on a lot of people's minds is snow. We have not had measurable snowfall in the Triangle the last few years. And for those dreaming of a winter wonderland, it looks like that trend may continue. She says with La Nina patterns and the drought we've been seeing, it is another below average chance for snow again here in the Triangle this winter. Tom George, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
Snow lovers will not rejoice around here. The good news is they can make snow in the mountains at least. So if you are a skier, it will be cold enough, I think. We'll get some snow in the mountains. Old school weather. Time to do some old school weather. Why do we call it that? Because we really break down the weather the way they used to on certain channels back in the 1990s. We'll start with the tropical season. Where are we? We're way past the peak. You'll notice today we're actually kind of in the final lull. Not much happening right now, but there's a little surge toward the end of the month of November. And sure enough, in that little surge, we get a chance at Tropical Storm Sarah. Now, right now, it's potential Tropical Cyclone 19. Expected to become a tropical storm sometime tomorrow through Saturday, and that's about as far out as the model goes. It meanders down here around the Yucatan Peninsula, or south of the Yucatan Peninsula, down toward Belize and Nicaragua, but then the models pull it to the north. So here is the spaghetti plot. Here it is just sticking around Nicaragua, Belize, Cancun. Then it turns to the north and east, and the models do take it up into western Florida, where a lot of question marks on this. Some of them bring it to the south, some of them bring it to the panhandle, some of them kill it off before it even gets there. So lots of question marks on where this thing will go, but Tropical Storm Sarah is what it would be known as, could become Hurricane Sarah later on in the week. If it were to hit Florida, it would be sometime next Tuesday into Wednesday. Of course, we'll be watching that. Here's what the modeling is showing right now. You can see it's down here to the south. It's just that blob of green down there. We're going to advance this. There it is sitting there. This is Monday morning, still over the Yucatan Peninsula. This could cause massive flooding in Honduras and Nicaragua. Then it's going to pull to the north and to the east. Now, this is a European model. It shows the low staying out here over the warm water. That is bad news because that would keep it a tropical storm as it passes through Florida. And notice as it goes off our coast, this would be Thursday of next week. It does throw some rain back at us. That's the European model. Let's take a look at the American model. It's a little different. Here it is down to the south. Again, it brings a little further north, so you're getting some of the cooler waters of the Caribbean. That would knock it down in intensity. It brings it across Florida sometime Tuesday into Wednesday. The thing the American model is picking up on is actually a cool front working through. As that front runs into this, it will shove it out to sea, but it's also going to wring the moisture out of it. So I think Wednesday to Thursday next week could be very wet. And there's some snow flying in the mountains of North Carolina. By the way, this is next Thursday, 7 o'clock. Long-range models do show us clearing out at this point for the Raleigh Christmas Parade, so that is good news. Let's take a look at the surface map, show you what's going on right now. We've got high pressure dominating the weather along the East Coast, and that's keeping things nice and dry. But we are watching this area of low pressure that's working its way through Iowa, and it's pulling up all of that moisture. A warm front that's pushing towards Chicago, the warmer air out towards Cincinnati. That's what's causing the rain there. You've got this cold front and a bit of an upper level trough. That's a disturbance in the atmosphere running into that warm, humid air, and it is triggering showers across parts of Mississippi and Alabama, and those will push east into Georgia. High pressure through the mountains, the Rocky Mountains, keeping things dry out through Denver. And then you head out west, and the higher elevations are actually dealing with snow in parts of Washington and down into northern California. Check this out. Winter weather advisory now north of Medford, Oregon. This is a winter storm warning north of Seattle as they see all kinds of snow in the highest elevations there. We'll zoom down in. They did have some wind advisories in parts of the Rockies earlier, but those winds have shut down and they stay relatively clear. We've got a wind advisory as you look into East Tennessee and the western mountains of North Carolina. As a matter of fact, there's a little pink area here. We'll zoom down in. This is actually a high wind warning for the highest elevations as you get out into East Tennessee and western North Carolina. And then as you move from Hot Springs up north, it becomes a wind advisory again. The winds roaring across Lake Erie. That is actually a wind advisory for western New York as they see some strong winds up to the north. Even though it's not raining or snowing up there, they just get that air moving across that flat water of Lake Erie, and it picks up speed. Let's round out old school weather with a little old school forecast for tomorrow. We're going to play some Pac-Man, a little old school gaming here. There goes Pac-Man being chased by the ghosts. He eats the ghost and he gives us a forecast. And it's really not a complicated forecast for tomorrow as far as temperatures. 51 by 10 o'clock, by 2 o'clock, 54. We'll stay in the mid 50s all afternoon. Tomorrow evening as the rain works through, we'll drop into the lower 50s. That's the weather around the country. Let's take a look at some weather video from around the world. First, torrential rainfall falling in Spain. It caused the streets to flood throughout the region today. Nearly a month's worth of rainfall fell in just 1 hour. Public transportation actually had to be suspended in the entire metropolitan area due to the severe weather, and several neighborhoods had to be evacuated in Western Europe. Check this out. That same weather system causing a water spout to churn up off the coast of southern Spain. This footage posted on X shows the water spout spinning offshore near Marabella. Earlier today, Spain's state meteorological agency expects heavy rain to last through Friday, so they could continue to see more storms and more flooding. Back here in the United States, the Jennings Creek wildfire up in New Jersey and New York has burned more than 5,000 acres. And it's still at just 30% contained as of this morning. Now, this footage from High Shots Media gives a bird's eye view of hotspots along Greenwood and Lake in Hewitt, New Jersey. Yesterday, footage from today shows firefighting helicopters taking water from the lake as the smoke rises through the woods surrounding the water. The New Jersey Forest Fire Service said that 2 structures are actually threatened. Several roads are closed. The good news, no evacuation orders are in place right now as they continue to battle drought and fire in New York and New Jersey. And finally, gale force winds on the shore of Lake Michigan yesterday actually carved a series of small sand sculptures. Check those out. They look more like something you might find like in a Utah desert than you'd find in the upper Midwest. Video filmed by Nate Stronography shows the sand formations against the backdrop of the St. Joseph North Pier Inner Lighthouse on Tuesday morning. This phenomenon is actually caused by the high winds that can shape wet sand with cold, dry air, creating the smooth, kind of otherworldly towers on the beaches. And that's the same system that is now working its way across Lake Erie and causing all of those high winds in western New York. Very, very interesting. All right, stay with us. When we come back, we've got viewer mail. We're going to answer a question, something we've been dealing with all week long. We're talking cold air damming, what it is, why it happens, and what it means to you. Next.
Droughts, record warmth, wildfires, and so much more. It has been a jam-packed start to fall. AccuWeather long-range meteorologist and lead hurricane expert Alex De Silva joining us now to help us make sense of it all. Alex, it was a pretty warm fall here in Raleigh so far. How many records were broken in October?
Well, it wasn't just a warm October in Raleigh. It was a warm October everywhere. If we bring up the map here, this is a list of all the counties in the United States. And you can see everywhere where you see orange or red, this is where we had counties that were above the historical average for the month of October. And we had over 5,000 daily records broken during that month. You can see actually the warmest departures from average were actually in the southwest and even up in the northern plains as well. But even if you look into the east here, a lot of these counties across the east are still lit up in orange, indicating that it was a very warm October. And in fact, if you average out the entirety of the United States, it was the second warmest October on record as a country.
Second warmest October on record as a country. And as you know, it wasn't just warm, it was also really dry in October. How bad did the drought situation get last month?
Yeah, the drought, the heat can kind of lead to a drought, right? If it's really warm, that can really help to kind of dry things out. And we've really seen the drought monitor really expand here over the last couple of weeks and last couple of months here. Look at this. Almost the entirety of the country is under some form of drought right now. There's a few exceptions across the far southwest, right on the coast, far northwest in Florida. But you can see just the extent, those darker colors really indicating where the drought is severe to even exceptional. And if we zoom in there towards the Raleigh area, Charlotte, those areas, all of you guys there in North Carolina are in a dry to at least moderate drought there. So it's been a very, very bad situation. And I really don't see a whole lot of rain here in the near term coming your way.
So we've had some warmth across the country, in some places record warmth. We've also had droughts across the country, at the very least abnormally dry conditions. So how about our first real blast of cold air? When is that coming, and what are the overall trends that we can expect this winter?
Well, in the next couple of weeks, there's not going to be a whole lot of at least prolonged cold. I'm watching the week of Thanksgiving. That kind of might be the first real shot of some really, really cold air potentially coming down, but it doesn't look very long lasting. It looks kind of transitory, so it looks like it might just come and go if that happens at all. So nothing really, really cold and prolonged. And if we bring up our temperature forecast map here, this is our kind of our winter outlook. So this is from December all the way to February, and everywhere where you see those yellows, oranges, and red colors, those are indicating areas where we're expecting temperatures to be above the historical average. So if we look down here, North Carolina, we're expecting temperatures during the winter season to average 2 to 3 degrees above average. It really takes up until until you get up into the northwest, northern Rockies. This area is where we expect temperatures to be a little bit cooler. They've already started out the ski season out there, so a lot of skiers will probably be happy with that forecast there.
November is certainly not feeling like November, and of course Thanksgiving right around the corner, but you're saying that hurricane season obviously isn't over just yet. It doesn't end until the end of November, and you're also saying that we shouldn't let our guard down either.
Absolutely not. You can see all the storms that we've seen so far during the 2024 season. I am very concerned now looking at the central and western Caribbean for our next system. The next system would be Sarah, if it gets a name there. AccuWeather's been highlighting a high risk for development in this area here. The water temperatures exceptionally warm, and there's going to be very low wind shear. I'm very concerned we will be dealing with a hurricane this weekend down here in the Caribbean. And then where does it go from there? Well, big area of high pressure will be across the southeast. If it's really strong, it should just push the storm west into Mexico. However, if that high weakens a little bit, our friends here in Florida are going to have to watch this very, very carefully, as the storm could turn and then head up towards South Florida.
Holiday season right around the corner, but hurricane season not over just yet. Alex De Silva from AccuWeather, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. A little bit of everything with our friends from AccuWeather. Meteorologist Robert Johnson, thank you so much for that update. Let's talk viewer mail. Anna, cue the music there. Love it. And our viewer mail coming to us today from, I know the question, I'm not sure. It was from Beatrice. There we go. Down in Johnston County in Dunn, Beatrice writes in. Actually, she wrote, you've been talking about this a lot this week. I've been hearing this term, but what exactly is cold air damming? Because this happens, if you're from other parts of the country, this doesn't happen a lot in other parts of the country, but it happens in North Carolina. Well, cold air damming has to do with air that's getting stuck against a mountain. So here's the setup. You've got high pressure, big blue H, high pressure to the north. Air rotates clockwise around this. So it's pulling that cooler air down into us, right out of Canada and right into us. And the mountains act like a dam. I made it blue here because it almost looks like water, but that cool air runs into the mountains. It can't go over the mountains, so it's kind of stuck against the mountains, and it just builds up. And then if we look into our area, you've got cloudy and cool rain possibly. Usually high pressure means blue skies, sunshine, and that cooler air. But here's the difference with cold air damming. You get the cold air at the surface, then you get warm air in the upper part of the atmosphere that's actually running in a different direction. So you get all this warm, moist air aloft, all of that higher humidity. It runs into this cool air, and the boundary between the two is where you see the cloud cover, the drizzle, and the rain. And that's what's going to happen tomorrow. When you have cold air damming, you don't have a lot of dynamics in the atmosphere. You don't have things like severe thunderstorms because the rain really can't build high into the atmosphere. Those storms can't because it'll get clipped off by that warm air aloft. So this is the setup for what we've seen. We've had high pressure to the north pushing that cool air into the surface. And then tomorrow we've got this frontal boundary coming from the west. So you've got that warm air pushing across this. As it does, we will see clouds, we will see drizzle, and we will see rain. Cold air damming happens a lot around here when it's really cold air in the wintertime and you get that warm air aloft. If it's cold enough, instead of rain, you get snow, and we have to watch for that in the winter. When we come back, we've got your ending forecast. We always do the coffee forecast, and wait till you see the viewer pick. We'll show that to you after the break. And welcome back. Before we get to the viewer pick, a big thank you to our folks working behind the scenes tonight. Can we take the picture, Anna? Anna, our director, she's here every week. And Andre, we got A Squared working in there. Thank you so much for all your help tonight, guys, and for getting the weather show on for all the folks out here. All right, let's take a look at the viewer pick. This one also coming to us from one of our behind the scenes folks. One of the folks who works behind the cameras, his name's Keelan, said his family, Yvette and Desire, were driving south through South Carolina today, and they saw this rainbow in the cloud, and they want to know what it is. Well, this is a rainbow cloud or an iridescent cloud. What happens is the sunlight hits ice in the atmosphere, and that sunlight does not travel through the ice at the same speed it travels through the blue sky. It actually gets bent. The light gets bent in the ice of the atmosphere, and it will create these rainbows. And in the desert Southwest, it can be bright enough to actually look like another sun sitting on either side of it, of the actual sun. Those are called sun dogs. But this is a iridescent cloud or a rainbow cloud. You know you got to have ice in the atmosphere to see that. So great picture coming to us out of South Carolina. Thank you, Yvette and Desire. And remember, we want to see your pictures. Just go to abc11.com/share. That's the easiest way to not only send us your pictures, but you can write us questions. We get our viewer mail questions from that, and we would love to hear from you. Again, abc11.com/share. All right, let's check your coffee forecast. We like to end with this as we head into tomorrow. I got coffee music. A little ease into the day. I kind of like that. Yeah, Anna giving us that coffee music, and we're starting in the 40s, so you're going to want the jacket as you head out the door, or maybe a sweater, but take the raincoat. It's only a 10% chance of showers at 7 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, it's 50 degrees, and the rain chances are starting to ramp up. And even if it's not raining tomorrow, when you head out the door, grab the rain gear. You're going to need it at some point tomorrow afternoon. It may not be till 2 or 3 in the afternoon. You're going, Don, come on, where's the rain? But I promise you, those showers will be working in. Again, the best time for rain tomorrow, between 2 and 10 tomorrow night. Temperatures in the 40s, though. You might want to have a second cup of coffee. And remember, when the rain starts to fall, you can always see what's happening on the First Alert Doppler net. It is always available at abc11.com/weather. And we also have that colorblind, color vision deficiency radar you can check out too. That's going to do it for the Weather Show this week. Thank you so much for spending part of your week with us. We appreciate you watching. We love to hear from you, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Until then, stay safe.